Hello, we're live.
Hello.
Hello, Amber.
Welcome.
I'm just going to fix this real quick because there's a little bit of a glare.
Gotta get it right. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cook With Us, where we show you how to make some delicious local favorites, but plant-based. I'm Amber from the Community Outreach Team here at Down to Earth. We got Cynthia behind the camera, ready to answer your questions, so let them roll in the chat. And today, oh my gosh, we're making something really cool. I say that every time, but this is cool.
Super cool. I really think it's super cool.
So we're making miso butterfish, but we're using everything but the fish. Started off with a good old dad joke. But yes, in all seriousness, we're making something so great today. And this is what it looks like. This is a spoiler alert.
Yeah, for those
in case
of
you don't believe.
early.
Yes.
Nice.
So we're making two versions. We're making one with eggplant and one with tofu for people who don't like eggplants.
I'm assuming the left one on the screen is eggplant?
Yeah, this one's eggplant
and
this is tofu.
Nice.
But doesn't it look just like a piece of fish?
It really does.
A little concerning, a little crazy maybe. But
I've actually worked at a couple of Japanese and Okinawan restaurants, and Misoyaki Butterfish is definitely always very popular. So
everyone loves it. I think it's because it's so tender, so flavorful. Yeah. And the reason why is because you have to marinate this for like a week.
Wow.
But good news is if you're using the eggplant, you don't have to marinate it for that long. But now I'm giving away too many spoilers. So I'm going to just start off with the marinade. Okay, so the first thing we're going to use is, this is a mixture of mirin and rice vinegar.
Okay.
So the original recipe, which came from Kyoto actually, is literally just mirin, sake, and miso paste. That's it. And the fish, of course. So if you take away the fish, it's already pretty much plant-based. Yeah. So just change the vessel and boom, you got it. So and of course we don't sell sake, so I just swapped it out for rice vinegar. So we're gonna add that to our pot that's been heating up a little bit. And then, of course, we gotta hit them with the miso. This is white miso we're using today. And actually, here's this is what it looks like. We're using mellow white miso. If you can find, this brand also has Kyoto white miso. You should get that one because it's more authentic. This is Cold Mountain.
Cold Mountain.
Yes.
Oh, Hawaiian style mild miso.
Perfect.
Shout out Hawaii.
So I'm going to add my miso in here. It's quite a lot, 6 tablespoons, but this is going to be a big marinade. So we're going to just break it down a little bit in here.
And I'm assuming that someone will ask this, but do you have to use the white miso, or is there any other miso? Is it preferred to use the white miso?
So the white miso is just in the original recipe if you want to be super authentic. But if you're not digging the white miso, you could use yellow, red, whatever you want.
Okay.
The difference really is in the amount of rice in the miso. So like the white one has the most concentration of rice in the fermentation process. We got yellow next in line, and then red, I believe they use barley or some other grains in there. So, you got options.
Right. And we also, for people who are soy sensitive, we do have the chickpea miso as well.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's in our refrigerated section. You can shop that at downtoearth.org/shop.
Ooh, good little segue there. Okay, so now we got our miso pretty much broken down. I'm going to add in just a little bit of maple syrup. So I really want that caramelization, so that's why I add the maple syrup in there. And then we got, of course, our good old coconut aminos. This is like a substitute for shoyu, but it is very, very much lower in sodium than shoyu.
Nice.
So we'll give you that salty flavor without the, damaging effects of too much salt.
Right.
Okay, and then one more thing I'm going to add in here, that is the dulse. Oh. I don't know how to pronounce this actually. Dulse granules.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Let us know if we're pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah, you tell me. But this is basically what's going to make it taste real fishy, because this is basically seaweed. Yeah. So kind of looks like fish food almost. Don't be discouraged. It's going to taste good, I promise. So I'm going to let this heat up and let all the members of this party get to know each other.
Get acquainted.
They're not social distancing, and that is okay. Okay.
And then, I'm sorry, did you say what heat you have this over?
It's on 4 out of 10 right now.
Oh, okay.
I don't want this to,
Not super
burn.
like right below medium.
Yes.
Okay.
Medium.
Medium.
So I'm going to cover this to let it kind of do its thing over here. And while that's working, I'm actually going to cut our eggplant.
Yay.
So we want to have, I think you could get probably, let me think, probably like 6 or 8 slices out of here. So this is really good to feed your family,
Nice.
You just got a little, maybe 1 or 2 eggplants and you're good to go. Okay, so cut the top and cut the bottom. Ooh.
Does it matter what kind of eggplants we use?
No, not at all. Any eggplant would work. You could also use zucchini, I think, for this. But in this case of the zucchini, I would marinate that one a little longer than the eggplant. Okay, so we're going to cut it right down the middle. Okay. And you see, it already kind of looks like fish.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot to cut this skin off. So I'm just I'm gonna just do one side to save time.
Okay.
If there's any questions, please let us know.
I already have a question.
Oh,
why are we cutting the skin off?
Oh, it's a little tough. And
okay.
just aesthetically, I'm not really into it.
Right.
That is a chef's choice. But you can leave it on if you like it. It's up to you. Oops. And you could also use a vegetable peeler, but the ones, I tried to do this earlier, and ours were a little bit too, what's the word?
Dull,
thank you. Okay, so
how far in advance can we prepare this dish?
Ooh, that's a great question. Well, it does need to marinate for a while, so I would prepare it in advance. I would recommend to. But I'm not sure if you really... I mean, I guess you could make the marinade and keep it in the fridge. I've never done it, so you can experiment with that.
Yeah.
Okay, just about done here.
Nice.
And
just a reminder that you can get the recipe there.
Yes.
Down to Earth or dte.co/butterfish, or you can just go to our website, downtoearth.org, and search Butterfish.
Butterfish. Okay, so I'm going to cut this into a skinnier pieces.
So these are like slabs.
In the recipe, I call them steaks, but I think I'll change it to fillets.
Fillets, because it's fish.
There we go. And then we're just going to cut it down the center. So now we have these really fishy looking pieces. And I'm going to just grab this. These guys can head on over to Trash Town over here. Compost Town.
Compost Town. Stock Town.
Yes. Okay, so these are going to go in our nice flat, you can use a baking container like this or a Tupperware, which I've used also. But I'm going to prepare the tofu part of this too. For those of you who want to use tofu, just drain and press any super firmest tofu you can find, and then, cut it in a similar shape. I like to poke some holes in here so that the marinade can get really deep in there. Because, this is super firm tofu so that we can have that fish texture, but, it also needs something to go into.
I see. And then because the eggplant is already sort of porous, you don't need to poke it.
Yeah, you could if you want to. But see, we got
just a couple little
holy tofu.
Holy tofu.
Okay, so we're just going to place that in here. And now our marinade should be done. Ooh, look at that bubbling action.
Oh my gosh, it smells amazing in here. The miso, the dulse, just smells like a Japanese restaurant.
There you go. We can't go to a Japanese restaurant, so you can bring it to your house. Okay, a couple lumps are okay. Don't worry about those. All right, now I'm just going to pour this in here.
Oh, so you pour a hot marinade over
Yes.
Okay.
And this, and of course, you're going to let this cool a little bit on your counter before you put it in the fridge because, food safety and all that. But just now, you're going to make sure that it's coated nicely. Might go a little double here with my spoon action here. Make sure it's nice and
if you have a bigger container, that would be good. This one, this one's a little slim.
Yes, but we will
make it work. That's the thing too that I appreciate is when a lot of times people give you exact dimensions and you're like, oh gosh, I just don't have that. 9 by 12. I have an 8 by 8. Can we make it work?
And the answer is yes, you can.
You can make it
always. Okay, so just imagine that this is very nicely coated.
Okay.
Use your imagination today. And actually, I'll show you what I have already going on.
Okay. So that is, I'm assuming you're about to tell us how long to marinate that for.
Yes. So for the tofu, at least a week.
Okay.
I know. Have patience. But the eggplant, is going to be probably no more than like overnight because it gets very soft and then it's just going to be mush.
I see.
Yeah, learn from my mistakes because I definitely.
So that was day 1 and then a week later for tofu or a day later for eggplant.
Yes.
And if you're like me and not a fan of eggplant, you'll take the hit and be patient for the tofu.
Yes. Honestly, it's way better marinated. But this is what it looks like. So I have my pan heating up over here. And
of course, she marinated this at different times, but they're just combined for today.
Yeah.
She didn't marinate them together.
Yes, I wish. Then I would have so much more. So, and when I'm marinating tofu stuff, I kind of, you kind of have to baby it a little bit. You like treat it nicely like a baby. And you come in and you have it in your airtight container, right? And you flip it over once every day and just, hey, tofu, do your thing. You're doing great, sweetie. All right. So I have my pan heating up here. Traditionally, you would put this in an oven, which you totally could. Bake it at 400 for about 5 to 7 minutes. It doesn't take that long. But I like the caramelization of the not brown sugar, maple syrup on here. So that's why I like to fry it up instead of bake it. Okay, so we're just gonna grab this and place it on. Not too much of a sizzle yet, but it will get there. Try to drain some of this off, but not too much because, you want it to be on there.
You want that marinade on there.
Yeah, but not so much that it's like pooling up around, because then you're going to have to deal with scraping it off, and that's just no fun. Okay, so while these go, does anyone have any questions? I'm going to put this at about 6. Let it kind of...
No questions from our audience. They're probably just eagerly waiting for the end result.
Have some ASMR.
Waiting for that sizzle. Okay, I can hear the sizzle now.
Nice. Okay, so while that's going, I'll tell you about another crucial ingredient in this dish, and that is our nori flakes, nori sheets. So you can get these. There's a bunch of different flavors. This one happens to be teriyaki. I didn't know I was buying the teriyaki one. I just was grabbing it because I was excited. I would have probably preferred a lightly salted. But this is probably good too. It's got a little hint of sweetness in there. But you could also get those big sheets that are usually made for sushi.
Yeah.
If you like for this one, I'm gonna have to put probably 2 of these sheets because it's a little too long to fit. So if you see, I actually have it on here. This is what the end looks like. Spoiler alert. So this is actually 2 pieces, and if I wanted to, I could have just put more.
Okay. Oh, we have 2 questions.
Okay,
perfect
go
timing.
ahead. Yes.
Because these guys are just heating up. Patrick asks, he came in a little late, so he's, how long did we marinate the tofu again?
For the tofu, at least a week.
A week.
If you can handle it, you can do it.
Make sure just marinate a lot so that you make it really worth your while.
Yeah.
And then Cindy asks, can you eat raw after marinating without cooking it? I'm assuming you mean after marinating the tofu and the eggplant, can you eat them raw?
I'm sure you can.
You can.
Yeah, I don't think
the eggplant would be not great, probably. I think the tofu would be fine.
Tofu, she's probably safe. But I
the
think
eggplant, I think you need to warm that one up.
Yeah, and honestly, look at this browning, this caramelization.
That's what you want.
This is like what Butterfish is all about, right? All right, so I'm going to check this.
I think, too, if you wanted to just make the miso sauce and use it as a dressing for something else,
absolutely.
You could do that.
That would be so good.
You could definitely eat that over raw tofu or, regular out of the packaged tofu.
Yes. Okay, so in the interest of, time saving, I'm just going to flip these. Okay. Not super brown, but that's okay. Because actually we're going to cover this side up.
The eggplant looking real good.
Oh, yes.
She's cooking.
So we're going to take our nori sheets.
Okay.
I'm going to take one. And using this marinade here, I'm going to actually use it like, almost like glue. We're going to do paper mache, nori mache.
Nice.
Okay, so now we're going to...
And that's why these sheets are perfect because they're a good size.
Yes, they're so amazing. So I'm just going to place it on here.
Wow.
And you can carefully, maybe I should use a spatula. At home I would just, poke it. But see how it's kind of melting to form the shape?
Yes.
It's kind of nice.
So
okay.
You want that, and it's going to turn into that.
Now it's Tofu's turn to get a little costume on.
And then another question about the heat.
Yes.
These are cooking at a medium heat.
Medium. This is at 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
And the dish itself will be 10 out of 10 taste. Okay, oops.
And we just use another sheet to cover for coverage.
Yeah.
Maybe one more for the eggplant.
Yeah,
Why not?
she needs a little. We don't want her to be exposed. Okay, so let's see how this is basically to soften it up and to keep it adhered to the tofu or eggplant.
So like when I've worked at restaurants before and they've made this with the real butterfish, they usually put this in a salamander, which is basically a broil.
Oh,
little
yes.
broil.
Yes.
And that's what gives it that toastiness. But most people at home do not have a salamander. They have a low broil, which is fine, but this is actually a lot faster.
You could finish this in the broiler if you like, or in the oven.
But kind of doesn't really need
Don't really need it, yeah.
Why make one more step? You already had to wait a long time for the marinade.
Yes. Okay, I'm turning down the heat because the oil is getting a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, that's pretty much the dish, honestly.
Okay.
While this is going, I'm going to just cut up some green onions because we gotta have the green onion garnish,
So this only needs a couple more minutes.
Yep.
But we're gonna start wrapping it up. So this is what it looks like when it's finished.
Yes, I'm gonna just dazzle with a little bit of green onion.
Can't have
It just makes it look so good, doesn't it?
You need that little bit of freshness on there.
Definitely.
And because the sauce is, I'm assuming, very sweet, you want a little bit of that tang or that
tang
from the onion.
Actually, speaking of tang, this is some lemon juice.
Nice.
And, lemon will make it taste more fishy. So we're just going to put a little bit
right before you serve it.
Yes, right before you serve it. It'll also make it look kind of shiny and nice. So
nice.
Yes.
Oh, man, that looks so good. Eggplant here, tofu here. You want to give us a try and tell us how it tastes?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. So which one should I do? Should I do both?
Yeah.
All right.
Do a bite of both. While you're doing that, I'll put the recipe up again.
Yes, and we also have a really cool offer, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm tangled in my cord. So again, the recipe is here, d2e.co/butterfish. Which one did you try first? The eggplant.
You gotta have the lemon on there, honestly.
Yeah.
At the end.
So does it taste super eggplant-y, or is it because you've marinated it? Does it taste different?
Not really.
It tastes,
honestly.
It still tastes like an eggplant?
No, it doesn't taste
it doesn't
like
taste
eggplant that much. You might even like it as a person who does not like eggplant. Okay, I'm trying the tofu one.
Okay. We did a poll in our Instagram yesterday, and I asked people which one they thought would probably taste better, and most people said the tofu. So, in your personal opinion, now that you've tried both, which one do you like? What is the texture like for both of them?
The eggplant is more of a fishy texture for sure.
So what is that, flaky?
It's like flaky but soft. Sorry, I took too big of a bite of that.
No worries.
I'm too excited.
Oh, and then another question while you're eating that.
Yes,
we'll ask her about the texture of the tofu after. How about a vegan tartar sauce with it? Oh, yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yes.
Yum.
You should definitely do that.
Yeah. Do we have a tartar sauce in the store? I'm not sure.
I think it's very easy to make, though.
Yeah.
We might even have a recipe on our website.
If we have a
Search
recipe,
tartar,
we'll link it in the in here. And you also get a shopping list of all the ingredients, so you don't have to search for everything.
Yes,
okay, so we had the eggplant, and now you have the tofu. And the eggplant was soft but flaky.
Soft and flaky. Yeah, I definitely would not marinate this more than overnight. 8 hours tops.
Dissolving.
Yeah, because although it's holding its shape very well, it is very soft.
Yeah.
But the tofu is very, like, you can see, holds the shape very, very well.
Yes, yes.
As you would imagine tofu would.
Right. So what is the texture like for the tofu? Especially because you put those extra holes in them. So I'm wondering if that affected it.
Didn't affect the texture too much, but it is very flavorful. So I definitely think you should always put those holes in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the texture is more like see, I didn't really eat fish before I was plant-based anyway. So I'm not really sure if this compares to a fish taste, but it's good. Tastes good, you know?
Is it firmer than the eggplant or?
Definitely firmer.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to check on these. Oh my gosh, yes. This is ready.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if...
Smells really good.
I'll pull up the other side so you can see, but... How's she looking?
Oh yeah, she's nice and brown.
Okay.
Nice.
And then we're going to just place it on here.
No.
So yeah, if you're in a regular situation, you would just brown the top a little more than I did. And I'm going to hit it with our lemon juice once again. Boom. And then
it's actually a very, very easy recipe.
Honestly,
just a little bit of time and that's it.
I was kind of intimidated when I was like, because we did a poll on Instagram and people said they wanted to see us veganize butterfish. I was like, how am I going to do that? Like, that's crazy, but it's actually pretty easy. Not too bad at all. You can definitely do this at home. So yes, that is the end of our recipe. Hope you make this. Tag us if you do. All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Hope you try this out. Hope you check out our deals, and we'll see you next time, Tuesdays on Facebook, Instagram on Fridays. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Have a good one.